My evidence of grace this morning is what I will call the silence of insomnia. I used to sleep like a log, always. Then we had kids. The kids wake you up at weird times. Then you move on, the kids move out, and now you're left with yourself. It's silent. You wake up in the middle of the night. Why are you waking up in the middle of the night? I say middle of the night, but it's more like that 3 to 5 in the morning stuff. You wake up and you're kind of refreshed, but you're not. And you're like, I can't go back to sleep, and your mind races. Anybody been there? If you're young and you don't have kids, or you have kids, you're going to enter a different phase of your life at one point. I'm 39. Look what it's done to me. Okay. So let me explain this evidence of grace, or this silence of insomnia. So for some time now, I've been suffering, and my wife also, with waking up in the middle of the night, and we sit and toss and turn and toss and turn. Yes, I've tried praying over and over and over, and it's like it just doesn't go away. Your mind races. It gets off of prayer. It gets into the world. It gets into your problems. It gets lost. You get lost in this stuff. And it's like, it's frustrating. Sometimes you can fall back to sleep. Sometimes you don't. Well, this past week, and it was all the timing of this and all was very interesting. This past week, I had woken up in the middle of the night, and I'm just frustrated. Frustrated with things that are going on in my life, frustrated with family situations and other stuff. And I'm sitting there and I'm praying to God. I'm like, please, Lord, stop. I just want to go to sleep. That's all I want. Just give me some rest. I can't do another day without sleep. And then it turned. Then it kind of changed a little bit, and it became, now I'm asking questions. Now I'm going to confront God. I'm like, I got questions for you, Lord. What is going on? What do you want? What do you want me to do? You've allowed me to wrestle. Is this a lesson that you want to teach me? And that was where things kind of turned for me, and where all of a sudden I felt like that God was actually speaking to me. And it's like He's putting thoughts in my mind, things that I don't think, things in situations and all. I'm looking at the things differently. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? I fell asleep. It took about an hour, but this conversation was pretty pointed with God. And I won't go into all the details, I don't have the time. But the next morning, once I got up, my routine is I get up, I go downstairs, let the dogs out, do my thing, feed them, sit down, have a cup of tea. And I usually jump on social media, work a few brain games to keep my mind younger than it is. And I'm down there, and I open up social media. The very first post I saw was a post entitled, "Here is why you wake up between 3 and 5 a.m." And I was like, okay, Lord, you're not done, I guess. Okay, so we had a conversation. He's like, I got more for you. It was by C.S. Lewis. And I said, okay, this sounds fairly credible. Let me dig into this a little bit. It took me a bit to dig into it and find out what he had to say. And then is when kind of the awakening really came with this whole evidence of grace, if you will. What I found out, and again, when these things happen to me, I go down this biblical rabbit hole. I don't know if y'all do it, but I do. And I'm like, I don't understand this. So now I'm going to dive into the Bible. Now I'm going to really mess myself up and dig in a little bit deeper and see what's going on here. And so this is what I found. And I hope it helps you. If you suffer from this, or if in your future you suffer from it, if this helps you, I hope it does. Because I don't think it's God just trying to help me. I think it's God trying to help everyone. So the Hebrew watch was divided into 3 watches: first, middle, and morning watch. As the Roman influence took over, it became 4 watches. They were the numerical order. The first watch from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and then the second watch was 9 to 12. And third watch was 12 to 3, and the fourth watch was 3 to 6. And that's the fourth watch that's getting me. But what I found further in there, as I dove into the Word a little bit deeper, was, look, this is important because a lot of things in the Bible, I never really connected these dots. There's a lot of important things that happen at that hour of the morning. It is considered, it's the last watch of the night, and it's also considered when satanic agents are returning, or they're outperforming their duties, and they're returning to their bases at those hours. It's also a time in the morning when the Israelites were delivered from slavery in Egypt in Exodus 12 and 14. This is also the time when Jesus walked on the water to help the disciples who were caught in the storm. Matthew 14. So this time that we're looking at, this fourth watch, and I'd heard the term, I've seen shows titled, first watch, fourth watch, I can't remember, I'm old. Anyway, but it's a time where there's an opportunity for you to get spiritually closer to God. Jesus prayed at those hours and was fussing at the disciples because they fell asleep. Why do you fall asleep during these nighttime hours, this early morning? So there's a strategic importance, significance for praying early in the morning hours. Though many are called at different times. You may be called in the afternoons, or your time with God may be different than that. But strategically, it is important for those reasons. And it is highly efficient in harnessing God's transforming power. So I have a whole list of things, and I'm happy to share with you if you'd like, but I'm not going to do it here for brevity. But if you struggle like I do, and I urge you to go in the rabbit hole, dig into all of the significant things in the Bible and the things with Jesus and what occurred during those hours, those early hours of the morning. And you will see, I got clarity on a couple of the issues that were going on, and they weren't of my own thought. I know this because I've been struggling with them, and when I want a second opinion, an expert opinion, I ask myself. And it didn't work. So I'm just telling you that this was very interesting and transforming for me, and I spent time looking at it. So if you struggle with insomnia during the fourth watch, it says, I hope you don't become frustrated like I was. And for so long, I hope rather use it as a time to talk to God. Prayer is one thing. Talking to God and having a conversation is different. And when you talk, you will get answers. He will speak to you in many ways. That's my evidence of grace. Thank you.